and welcome to another day with a Jewish mother
and a Latina.
And today we have a Latina with us who also happens to be an incredible musician and voice teacher. So, hi Noa.
Hello.
Meet Noa Miranda. You might have seen her in some community theater stuff. She was Hope in Anything Goes. And she sings all over the place. Didn't you do something for the UFT recently?
I did. So the United Federation of Teachers hosted a fundraiser, a virtual fundraiser, and I submitted a video. And they put me in it as the opening act. And then they invited me for this Saturday, actually, on the 15th, they're doing their spring education conference, and they asked me to sing the national anthem. So I recorded that video with your son,
my son,
the piano, Stephen Rosenberg. This one's for you, bud. See you there.
And of course, Maxie, because we're in my house, and Gibbs lives in the Latina house.
Yes.
So, Maxie, I'm going to put you down now.
All right, Maxie.
So, Noa, what are we going to do today?
So, I decided that we would go a little bit about the basics of vocal technique, so the important things. So we'll talk about breathing, we'll talk about vocal registration, and then we'll have you sing something marvelous at the end, and we'll coach you through that.
Do you teach adults?
I do, yes. I do, yes. And I teach a lot of beginners, which is always fun for me, because it's like really discovering the layers in our voices.
And that's perfect.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this before we started filming, that you definitely have a higher voice than you think you do. That's one of my favorite vocal secrets, is that nobody realizes how much range they have until we start singing.
Interesting.
So
I can't wait to find out.
We're finally giving you your music lesson.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm going to take my place at the piano, because as we all know, Vivian was a media teacher and I was a vocal music teacher.
Correct.
So I'm going to hand Vivian over to Miranda.
Thank you.
Noa Miranda, the other Latina.
That's incredible.
And I even know how to spell it N-O-A. It wasn't correct on that thing that auto-corrected.
Noa is not a very Latina name.
well, the thing about the name Noa is it comes from the part of Spain that my family is from. So I come from this place called Galicia. It's the northwest of Spain, and we speak another language there called Galician. And so my name comes from that language, and it means to be new. So Noa.
Noa.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So we've been saying it wrong for years. Noa. So
Noa.
everybody who is in our circle, Karen O'Donnell if you're watching, and everybody else in our circle, it's not Noa.
It's not Noa.
Noa.
Okay.
That's almost French.
Noa. No, it's
Noa.
Noa. Yeah. It's
Why is it that whenever I learn something new in Spanish or in any kind of Latina language, it sounds Korean to me?
I don't know. You're expressing it in the wrong space, the wrong spot. It's just Noa, but you can call me Noa. I'm not. You know.
Well, we've been Americanized. Okay, so I'm going to sit here.
Okay.
So I like to talk about this style of breathing called appoggiare breathing.
Apoyo.
Which comes from the Italian word appoggiare, which means to lean. And it's similar in Spanish, the word apoyar, right? So appoggiare breathing really means to lean on our breathing system, right? So our sternum is tall, and then we lean down into the lower body. And I like to think of that too as like I'm leaning on my breathing system, which is what we want to do for correct singing, right? Or to have the most efficient type of singing.
Okay.
So it combines two types of breathing. We have rib breathing, the intercostal. So if you put your hands here, you can feel them. And then our lower abdomen. So if you put your hand kind of like underneath your belly button.
Which I can no longer feel because of my C-section.
Well, it's there, so
I'll take your word for it.
yes, it's there. So if you can put your hand just like you have it now, with your hand under your ribs and your hand under your belly button.
That's like some kind of funky pageant stance.
Yes, exactly. And when you do that, it's like your sternum lifts automatically, right? So when you breathe, I want you to think of sending the breath down to that spot underneath your belly button, right? So we don't want to see your shoulders lift. Just breathe down.
Okay.
Do you feel how your belly expands when you do that?
Is this supposed to be like...
Yes, all this expands, right?
It is.
But we feel this idea of like this pressure.
I think it's
right?
my lunch.
Well, what did you have for lunch today?
Shrimp tacos.
Shrimp tacos are fabulous. I
Very pleasant.
would would enjoy shrimp tacos before singing too.
And ice cream. And a beer. Okay.
Oh, all right. Listen, what's a good life? She's retired, folks.
Maybe it's not.
She's retired. So with that in mind, right, this gives us the most efficient way to breathe for singing. We get a moderate amount. That's where a lot of people have misconceptions that we need a lot of breath to sing. Really, we don't.
Okay.
We don't, right? We just need the right amount, this moderate amount, which this breathing helps us to achieve. So when we breathe in, we can release the breath on a hiss. And you feel this expansion happening in your belly and your ribs, and it creates this resistance, right? So we don't sing, we sing on the resistance of air, right? So in order to sing properly, there needs to be a resistance, because if we push everything out, what's coming out of our voices? Nothing, right? So that hiss is a good way to practice this idea of resistance as we sing. Let's see how long you can hold it out for. Some people practice this like counting or saying like, I'll hold it out for 10, but just for today, just for the fun of it, let's see how long you can hold it out for.
That's pretty good.
Is that from yoga?
Oh my god, that was awesome! So let's take that breathing exercise and add it now into a lip trill. Exactly, that's perfect.
That's pretty good for somebody who can't do it.
Exactly. See, it's amazing the things that we think we can't do, but we can. You can do it.
That was good.
That was really good. Keep going.
Wow. Come on, keep rolling.
That was great.
Can we stop
Remember,
now?
you're new to this. You're new to
Okay.
this. So it's okay if sometimes your lips stop buzzing together. Let's do another one. Let's just keep bringing you down.
Okay.
Don't bring me
Now,
down.
now this is to check how low I can go?
So
Or
now, well, yeah, so when we warm up, we want to warm up our complete range,
Oh, okay.
right? Because that helps awaken our registers that we're going to talk about next.
Okay.
So let's just bring you back down to a neutral split, please.
Oh, my hand goes here. Okay, wait. Give me that first.
Let's do one more. Yes, that was great. How did it feel?
Good. I felt like, yeah. It didn't
Yeah,
feel
does
bad.
it feel like we're doing this crazy thing? Like,
No, it's kind of comfortable.
yeah,
It was good.
right?
Yeah.
It sounded great.
Oh, good.
It sounded great. And so, remind us again what range we got out
We
of
got
our
2
friend
octaves out of you, my friend. What does that mean? An
Low
A
is
flat
a low.
below middle C, all the way up to an A flat 2 octaves above. So you went all the way up here.
which is a soprano note, my friend. That is a gorgeous, tingling soprano note. And that's my favorite. Listen, maybe I'm biased since I am myself a soprano, but every time my students find they have these gorgeous high notes, I'm like, ugh, it's just satisfying. It's
It is,
satisfying.
it is.
Because
It's
you
so
thought you
true.
were an alto. And look where you got up to. And that is the beauty of the voice, my friend.
Her first
Yeah.
lesson.
On her first,
On my first
lesson.
lesson.
So, and that was all you. That was all you.
And you.
No, that was all you and your natural voice.
And you.
I had nothing to do with this.
Well, you're playing the piano for us,
Yes, thank you.
which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do for us. And thank you, Tracy. You see, this is a team effort, my friends. A team effort. So now we're going to talk about vocal registration, right? So you might have heard these terms like chest voice, head voice, mixed voice, like what the heck is that, right? So vocal registration is really any discernible or definable change in the vibratory mechanism, which is our vocal folds or our vocal cords, right? As we navigate our range. So different parts of our range sit in different places. So our chest voice is, we feel it here, right? I'm like, not even explaining. I'm just like, my chest voice. So our chest voice tends to be like our lower pitches, right? And most people speak in their chest voice, right? So for singing, we want our chest voice to really feel like our speaking voice, especially when we do musical theater, which is, we will be looking at today since you're going to do West Side Story. Yeah? So one way of finding our chest voice is by saying, hey. Go ahead, say it.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah.
We said that a lot in school.
Hey.
Stop throwing things.
Yeah, exactly. You find that chest voice. You tell him.
Take that notebook out.
Exactly.
What do you mean you need a pen again?
Right.
Teacher voice.
Your teacher, that's a good way of looking at it. Your teacher voice, yeah? So we're going to do a fun exercise.
More fun than a lip trill?
Ooh, yes. Because this one, you're going to get to feel like a teacher again.
Oh boy, yell at me.
And you're going to use the words, hey now.
Hey now, hey now.
Let's start, I want to start somewhere over here.
So maybe that.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hey now.
Just like that.
And a bar lower. Hey
And we're gonna go, yep.
Hey now.
And don't be afraid to give it to them, right? So imagine maybe, like, no shade to your husband, like maybe your husband did something you didn't enjoy, like maybe,
Hey now.
maybe he didn't put the laundry away or something. So like point to each one and let your voice be present, right? Hey now. Hey now. Or I don't know what I'm saying. Hey now.
You should teach this stuff.
Thank you. It's something I've considered for a long time.
How long have you been training?
I started training when I was in college a long time ago. So I was 19. I'm now 30. I'm turning 31 this year. So
She had the same voice teacher in college that got Steven into All City, All State, and into colleges.
I did.
Elena Heimer, shout out to you.
She was wonderful, and I thank you every day. Seriously, when I'm warming up, I still think back to things that she taught me. And so when I studied with her, we did classical music and opera, and that was a beautiful, beautiful journey for me. I never thought that I could fall in love with opera. I didn't really grow up listening to that. So getting to study it and like explore my voice in that way was really fun for me.
And Elena's amazing.
And she's an amazing
As you can see,
teacher.
as it filtered into her student.
I see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Yeah.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey now.
Yeah.
Hey now. Hey now.
Okay, so I want to talk about what happened as we were going into these little
I felt
pitches. You felt it, right?
I felt
That
my
is-
arm jiggling.
So that is
I did.
So, well, that's a fun motion, why not? So I want to talk about that. So what happened was we met something called your passagio, which is another fabulous Italian word, which means passage. We know it, or maybe you know it as your break. Yeah? So that means that we went from your mixed voice, which we'll talk about later, into now what's fully your chest voice. Yeah, and so there was like almost like a skip. It was a break in your voice, right? And that's okay. That's okay, because as we do more exercises, like we work on smoothing that out. So now you discovered where your break is. Now you know what it feels like, right?
It hurt.
Did it hurt? It should not have hurt.
No, but I heard it crack.
Okay.
I heard the little.
It hurt your ears.
So, on the opposite end of the chest voice, there's the head voice, okay? Which our head voice is where we sing our beautiful tinkling soprano notes. And we can find that by saying, woo, woo, woo.
Sound familiar? She's been in my classroom.
Yes. So you feel, you can feel the difference between the chest voice and the head voice because the head voice feels lighter, right?
Right.
So our chest voice, our vocal cords, they get stronger and, not stronger, I'm sorry. They get shorter and thicker, which then creates a stronger production. Okay, where our head voice, our vocal folds, our vocal cords get thinner, they stretch, they get thinner, and that creates the lighter sound.
Okay.
Woo! Or wee!
Wee!
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
So now this exercise is kind of like a classical exercise. We're gonna, thank you, that was so lovely. We're gonna say haw, H-A-W, haw.
Haw.
Mm-hmm. But like say it, what are you afraid of? Haw. Yeah, it's kind of like a bird, like haw.
Haw.
Okay, great. Haw. Oh, wow, these are wonderful variations and all happening in the head voice, which is a beautiful, marvelous thing. So, on haw, we're gonna do an octave interval, 1-8-1.
Uh-oh, that sounds
and it's
scary.
gonna sound, let's do a little bit lower. Let's maybe start on the C. And it'll sound like this.
Oh, hell no.
You can do it. You can do it. And the secret to this exercise, my friends.
No.
Yes.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, yes.
Hell no.
Ooh, I like that one. This exercise is a slide, which
Okay.
helps again to blend our registers. We're not skipping from ha, which is another exercise we could do, but we're not doing that. We're blending, connecting all the notes.
Oh, man.
And this aw, you're gonna feel in your pharynx, which is this fun thing happening in the back of our throats, kind of like a C shape, okay? That's gonna start to open, and the aw is the perfect vowel to allow this opening to happen. It's gonna wanna do it on its own.
Okay.
Trust yourself.
I'll trust
And so I want you to start, take your hands and just place them. So that way you can feel your jaw drop, because that's also really important to singing, is our mouth shape and our jaw. We don't want our jaw to interfere with our singing. It creates a lot of tension.
Okay.
We want it to be released. So I like to practice this way a lot, and I have a lot of my students do this too.
Okay.
So on this exercise, you're just gonna let your jaw drop. You're gonna feel it because you're touching it, right? So just very simply.
But you look so pretty when you do that.
Thank you. I don't know, I'm just gonna get compliments in here,
I feel
guys.
Can I put my mask on?
Did you see how released everything was?
Yeah.
Just let your mouth open and you'll feel the back of your throat. This is gonna open on its own because of that vowel shape. So just give it a try. Let's see what happens.
I better try it.
Take a drink of water.
That's a good one. We can talk about that exercise.
Yeah. How long am I holding that?
Vivian!
Hell yes!
You're a liar! You're a liar! Vivian is over here telling us, I don't know how to sing. I don't know what I'm doing, and look at this beautiful sound.
I can carry it too.
She was the best kept secret at ISD.
I'm not a
I mean, it's stunning. And now you're like, So again, put your hands back here again to release everything. something open. Good. Now this next one, I want you to try ha right on that opening note as opposed to ha. Ha.
Wait, let's imitate.
Let's try one more. We're gonna start on the word mum. And this one's gonna be a really simple exercise. We're just gonna do 1, 2, 3, 2, 1
Oh, okay.
on mum.
You want to go further?
Let's try starting there.
Yeah.
Mum, 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 mum. So my mouth is moving, but it's moving very minimally, right? So I'm not focusing on mum, 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 right? Mum, 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 mum. I'm really focusing on that vowel again, which is an up. Perfect. Excellent. Let's keep going.
Are we going to get up?
One more. You mummed us all the way to heaven. Yes, girl.
Mom to heaven.
That was gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and you went down to good old F sharp. That is pretty low. But you also mummed up to the C, right? Which is, this is also a soprano note. But when we do a nice like chest dominant mix, which is we use more chest voice in that mix, right? We can belt. And this is pretty high for a belt. So, and you did it so beautifully. And the thing that I loved the most was how neutral everything was. So your face there was none of this confusion look, which happens a lot as we're singing or we're learning something new. And your mouth also, there wasn't a lot of jaw interaction or, what's the word I'm thinking of? Jaw
Tension?
Yeah, that's not the word I'm thinking of.
It's Botox. No.
Jaw, not interaction. Jaw interference. Interference is what I meant.
Interference!
Jaw interference, which that happens a lot, right? And we get that tension, which I mentioned before. So everything was really neutral, and that's important for our mixed voice because we want it to feel like speaking. So in that way, it's similar to our chest voice. Okay. So how did this exercise go for you?
That was easy.
I knew you
So easy, right? And that was part of my plan.
Feel silly.
Yeah, that was part of my plan was to kind of finish it on something that's easy. So now we get the fun of song coaching, which is one of my favorite things too.
Now I cannot read notes or anything.
Don't worry about it.
Does it
You don't have
matter?
to.
Okay, good.
Don't worry about it. Yes. So remind me again, what song are we singing?
What
Do you want somewhere? I feel
here?
pretty.
I don't know. Which one do you think? Which one
This
would you
is-
pick for
this
One
is-
Hand, One Heart is a nice one.
Oh, that one is really
and
so
that one's,
beautiful.
it doesn't go too high until the very, very end.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And it starts middle of the road.
Yeah, I like that. I like that choice, and I like when my students tell me what they want to sing, right? Because this is about you. Like I'm just here to help you along, but really these voice lessons are about the person who's coming, the student. Yeah. So I do feel comfortable in this. Yeah,
it's also what you think as a teacher, what I can handle.
Well, if you said to her, I want to sing something that was like really unrealistic at this point in the time,
right? She would say,
a good teacher would say that.
Right, exactly.
Like they do on American Idol.
They're not
They're like,
teachers.
you don't want to sing that.
No. Well, so right, you bring up that's a good point to bring up as well. However, I think that it's important for you as a student to decide what you want to be singing because we can always find a way to achieve that. Even if it's like right now it seems a little difficult, we could always switch to something similar that might be a little bit easier in where your voice is at this current moment, right? So it doesn't mean that there's you can't, you know, there's gonna come a point where it's like, oh no, I can't sing that. That's not true. You can sing anything.
And you can always revisit something that you might have had to shelve for a little while.
Right. So this is, you know, and for this is like the first time I'm really hearing you sing something. So it's really whatever you want to bring in, because then we get to see where your voice is.
Okay. I don't know the lyrics. So
Come around.
Here?
I'll stand
Can you
short.
see it?
And
make up our minds, one mind, day after day, one mind. Now it begins, now we'll start, one heart, even death will part us now.
She hit that without even thinking about it.
yeah, I just want to say, Viv, that you have this gorgeous mixed voice. You were mixing and you didn't even know it, I'm sure.
I
Let's talk
thought
about
you were going to
entire-
stop and yell at me when we got to I thought you were going to kill me, and you just belted it right
Yeah,
out.
and like, this is, if you don't know the sheet music, this is an E flat, which is again one of those soprano notes, and you mixed it, which was beautiful, I mean, right? So now I want you to try releasing the jaw and adding a little vibrato to it.
What's vibrato?
It's when we hear that like almost shaking or wave.
Oh, like
Right? So instead of make of our hearts one heart.
You're making up words.
Sorry.
It's okay, we're making our hands
Yeah,
first.
listen, it happens all the time.
I make up words all the
I
time.
do this all of the time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying.
I once made up an entire Italian aria.
Oh.
I did, because I forgot the words and I just started singing
Well,
any Italian words I know.
Well,
Pizza,
you need to start like a story
Tomato.
time in A Jewish Mother and a Latina, and just tell these like stories, and you can tell us all about that made up opera aria, because I'm really interested and invested in that story now. So I sang hard. It's supposed to be hands, right?
Okay,
So
it doesn't matter.
it was, so what I just did was very pointed, right? Make of our hands, but we want it open, right? So we want to take that quality of that like chestier sound in that mix. Make of our hands one hand. Do you feel how
that's
it's
so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you.
We go to one song, one quick one song, and then we're gonna wrap this.
Okay.
This has been
I
great.
know what she wants.
I'm being a bed.
I knew it.
So
Sorry,
we'll start over from the beginning.
I'm trying to read your lines.
Okay, so
I
it's similar. You were already doing that with the words, right?
okay.
I just want to show everyone at home
yes.
a way that we can practice this to get that sound,
Okay.
right? Which you were doing already. Some people have trouble finding that sound, and that's okay. There's exercises to find it.
Just play the music.
So let's give it a try, just to show everyone at home what that would sound like, to practice this more on like vowels and nonsense words as opposed to, yeah, which this also helps free us up. Gorgeous.
I like the city of San Juan. I know
So what I want to talk about is, how did it feel when you were singing that part on the nay?
easy.
Was it free?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like I
totally,
wasn't
it felt free. And then I didn't tell you to go to the words.
No.
You did, and it was so open, and you were
Well,
like
yeah.
characterizing it. And I love that everyone at home gets to see that, because normally what I would have done is, okay, so you did that, now you did that on A, let's add the words in now to see.
Right.
But you kept going. I didn't want to stop you because I liked where this was headed, to be honest. And because I noticed how free you were with those nays, and then you added the words, and I was like, okay, yes, girl. And you served us so much. I mean, it was gorgeous. Now I just lost my train of thought. Guys.
Derailed.
Oh my god, totally derailed.
Totally do. She was more advanced than she let on.
Yes, and I loved how free it was. And again, like, I can't emphasize enough this beautiful mix that you have. And if we look at these notes, that's high. That is high.
I wasn't gonna tell her.
Yeah, to be singing on a mixed voice when you're new to this, that is high, right? This is easier if we were like, oh, did like, on like a head voice, but you were nailing that. It's like pointed, right? What does that feel like to you? To me, it feels really pointed and forward. But I want to see what language you use to describe it. How does that feel for you? If you were aware of it.
I wasn't. I just did it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because
I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
You stop thinking.
You stop thinking. Exactly.
Stop
Exactly.
thinking.
I like to be in America.
Was amazing, but every time I see you, I learn something new about how
so
amazing you are.
Stop! You're embarrassing me.
We're trying
Okay,
to.
now you said something about, wait, let's switch sides.
Okay.
You said something about performing for the UFT. Do you have a copy of that video, or where can we find that?
So I have a website that you can visit me at,
Okay.
www.noa-miranda, miranda.com. And I have some videos on there that you can see of me singing. One of my videos on the website was used in that UFT fundraiser, and I'm actually going to add my video of the national anthem onto my website, so you can check it out there.
Does your website also have your information if somebody's watching this and says, hey, I want to take lessons with her?
Yeah, so I have a contact page on there, so you can just write into my contact box and go right into my email, and we can set something up. Yeah, so it's on there. You can see videos of me, and again, like I said, you can contact me there. It's also linked to my Instagram. You can also DM me if you want a lesson on my Instagram, which is at Noa Miranda. And again,
I will tell you,
This is fantastic.
Noah's current teacher
Yes.
is a Broadway actress,
Yes.
and she's amazing.
She's fabulous. I love her.
And very few people are lucky enough to be able to study with her.
So, are you going to do Broadway someday? Is that something you're looking to do?
I hope so.
Oh my God!
We'll
Sign her up,
see.
somebody.
I hope so.
Maybe she and Samantha will end up in a show together.
Oh, I would love that. That would be so much
Oh
fun.
my God.
Yeah, so I'm
fun.
excited. Auditions are going to start opening up again. Can't wait for Broadway to be back.
Oh yeah.
Even just to go and see a show. It's,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm excited for
Well,
that. So.
Noah, thank you so
Thank
so
you.
so
Thank
so
you.
much.
Amazing.
This was so much fun.
And the most fun we've had.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah.
And you learned something about yourself, my
Oh,
friend.
Yes, and I love that. I love
My
that.
sister from another mister.
So you better keep singing because you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate
There
it.
you
Thank you
go.
so much.
And then you learn the
Yeah.
piano and you could accompany yourself.
Yes, that would be fun too.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of A Jewish Mother.
And the Latina.
And thank you, Noah, because you are awesome.
Thank you. This is so much fun. So thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
What is this, number 29?